Moving on for now, 2018 has witnessed multiple twists and turns in the relationship between the United States and North Korea. From a war of words, provocations in the form of missile tests, to the much publicized dismantling of a nuclear site by North Korea. And of course, the historic Trump-Kim meeting. But if a New York Times report is to be believed, it's all just deception. A Washington-based think tank Center for Strategic and International Studies has revealed that while the North has offered to dismantle a different major missile launching site, it continues to make improvements at more than a dozen other sites. The think tank's report says that North Korea is moving ahead with its ballistic missile program at as many as 16 hidden bases that have been identified in new commercial satellite images. And these images published by CSIS suggest that the North has been engaged in a great deception. It continues to make improvements at more than a dozen other sites that would bolster launches of conventional and nuclear warheads. Remember, in the run-up to the Trump-Kim summit, North Korea reported it destroyed its nuclear testing site at Pyongyang, setting off explosions to destroy the north, west and south portals to tunnels that could have been used to test nuclear weapons. North Korea also transported several international journalists to the site to observe the explosions from a distance. US President Donald Trump held talks with North Korea's Kim Jong-un in Singapore, with Kim committing himself to complete denuclearization. Donald Trump has asserted that his landmark diplomacy has led to the elimination, as he claims, of a nuclear and missile program which the North had warned could devastate the US. Talking of the halt of missile flight tests, Trump's assertion can be called true, but American intelligence officials say that the North's production of nuclear material, of new nuclear weapons and of missiles that can be placed on mobile launchers and hidden in mountains at the secret bases has continued all throughout. And earlier we spoke to Korean affairs expert Robert Kelly, who gave us his perspectives on the issue. Take a listen in.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's been a lot of pushback in the last 24 hours about this. The only thing I would add to that, I mean, a lot of that is correct. I think a lot of your reporting there was excellent. But I think the only thing I think that we're missing is that to a certain extent, the president kind of set himself up for this fall. I mean, if you actually look at the commentary from the analyst community, people like me and others, you know, on Twitter and stuff like that, a lot of us were making these kinds of arguments 6 months ago before the president even went to Singapore, because the North Koreans had sort of been sending good signals, but they hadn't agreed to anything actually very hard or concrete. And if you look at the language from the Singapore summit, they didn't say anything binding there either. The North Koreans never actually agreed to give up their nuclear program. They've only agreed to freeze and discuss denuclearization and so on in the future. And Donald Trump, you know, sort of wildly exaggerated that. I mean, that the president is sort of given to sort of large rhetoric, and on this he really sort of got carried away. I think the North Koreans got found out a little bit faster than anybody expected, but I think a lot of people in the analyst community kind of thought something like this would happen.